Augusta, we have a problem. Hi, I'm Paul, and this is The Golf Show. Hey everyone, I'm Paul Hemlin. Welcome to The Golf Show. So we're still in lockdown for another month, but I don't think that means golf has to stop. There are still things we can be doing as golfers to improve our game, to make sure we're as ready as possible for that first round when we get back out on the course. So in this week's episode, I'm going to have a golf lesson via WhatsApp. I'm going to have an online club fitting from PXG, and I'm going to have a virtual workout from a golf fitness coach. I'm also going to tell you who my favourite golf YouTuber is. Alright, second favourite, but you know what I mean. It's been challenging filming in lockdown, but your support has really helped get me through this. We're nearly there. We've got enough episodes planned now to get us through it until we get back out on the course. So thank you very much for all your support for all the regular viewers. If you are new to this channel, I would ask you to please hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. That way you're not going to miss any of the content we're putting out every week. Okay, that's more than enough for me. Let's get on with the golf show and let's get the golf clubs out. Okay, so I'm going to have an online lesson with Dan Hood. Dan's asked me to film myself hitting some balls. He says he wants the camera at hand height, so let's have a go at that. Don't panic. These are plastic. Okay, I'm warmed up. We've got the 7-iron. Let's hit a couple of shots. Be kind, Dan. Lost my balance a bit there. That was good, wasn't it? Came back to me. Oh. Got into next door again. Sorry. What am I like? Okay, so Dan asked me to film some shots down the line and now some head on. Feels really good to be hitting some shots again, even just with a plastic ball. Gosh, I've missed my golf. Again, still with the 7-iron. One last one, let's make it a good one. Okay, so that's all I need to send to Dan, as simple as that, as quick as that. He's now going to analyse those swings for me in his new state-of-the-art swing centre at Doncaster Golf Club, which uses TrackMan technology. Over to you, Dan.
Hi Paul, thank you for sending the video in. So if we take a look at your swing here, I've put this red line in here now, and that's just really to show you how much of your hips move closer to the ball during the downswing, and we call this early extension. So as I add a second red line in here, you can actually see how far away your hips move closer to the golf ball. Your torso kind of raises up, and that can also then lead to your club being stuck behind you. Okay, so as we pull this video back here, you can see your hips and your right back pocket touching that back line, that red line. As we now take the club up, you can now start to see this forward thrusting movement of the hips towards the golf ball. Torso raises up, as I say, almost creates a little bit of C posture there. All right, so those videos early on and that you've done with Ben in the past, keep doing those exercises. Sort of disassociation planks will help you strengthen your core. Okay, right then Paul, what you need, a couple golf balls, and place them under the ground underneath the heels of your feet. Okay, this is now going to help you force the pressure now going through a little bit more of the heels and not that of the toes. So you're really going to try and press those balls into the ground as much as possible. As you swing, you almost want to squat and press those balls into the ground. Okay, what happens when you early extend, weight goes into the toes, club gets stuck behind you, torso raises up, and this is where the shots can start to get a little bit inconsistent. So give that a go. Once you've had 2 or 3 swings, then you can really then try and introduce that into the golf ball. As I say, you're going to top of the back swing, Really feel the pressure now going through the golf balls, and then you're going to drive through to impact.
Wow, how simple was that? I just WhatsApped Dan a few swings and he's come back with some really simple tips for me to work on over the next month. That is fantastic. Dan, thank you very much, and I can't wait to get down and see you in your fantastic new swing centre. Cheers, buddy. Okay, so now we've got some stuff to work on for my swing. Let's work on some stuff for my body. So we're going to head over to see Mike Murray at MM Physiotherapy, and he's going to give me some golf activisation exercises to do. So let's go do that.
Mike at MM Physiotherapy Performance Centres. So we're just going to run through some drills for you, Paul, get all those swing tendency areas active to make sure you're stable throughout the golf swing. So we picked up on the instabilities around the hip. So here's drill number 1. So first exercise, all we're going to do is take the club across the shoulders, nice and set with the posture. And all we're going to do is just do a side step to the left from golf posture, loading that left side, and then same to the right. Repeat these 10 on each side, nice and stable. Each part of the movement's controlled, and making sure you're pushing back to that start position. Activate everything around the pelvis and everything around the glutes. 20 of these, 10 each side. Next one, Paul. So we're taking the club across the chest, band around the lower part of the leg, and all we're going to do is we're going to step forwards, create that separation between left and right, and then add in rotation for the thoracic. We're aiming for getting the club to point towards the floor, opposite end of the club to face towards the ceiling, and then step back and repeat the other side. So rotate as far as we can, step back. From side on, making sure you're staying stable throughout the movement, lean forwards, open up as far as we can, and then come back, step, repeat on the other side, turn as far as you can, step back. 5 on each side, 10 all together. Really starting to work the upper body and get it connected to the lower body and everything working around that pelvis. That's number 2. Alright, Paul, last drill. Just going to take the larger loop this time, pop it over the shoulder, set yourself into golf posture, club across the shoulders, and we're just going to make sure you rotate fully over that left hand side, getting all these rotational structures nice and active. So we're just going to rotate onto that left hand side, try and get your chest square to the target, really turning through that left chain. And then we're going to go again for 10. So one after the other, nice and smooth. Each time you're doing it, feel the activity through the glutes and then covering that left hand side. So we're making sure we're nice and snappy, turning through all these rotational structures that are going to make you more dynamic and a little bit quicker through the ball. So give those 3 sequenced exercises a go, and all the best with your lesson and your fitting with PXG. Catch up with you soon.
Whew. Thanks, Mike, really appreciate that, and I'm going to work on those over the next month until I get back out on the course. Can't wait to go over to the Ribble Valley and see you and Team MM at MM Physiotherapy soon. Cheers, buddy. Hi Lawrence, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks Paul. Keeping busy, you know, trying to keep moving forwards, but obviously we've now got a release date for golf, so that's obviously quite positive. Yeah, all good, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, the 29th of March can't come soon enough, and thank you very much for coming on the show. Really do appreciate it. As you know, we're doing a sort of golf carries on in lockdown episode here, so really excited to do a online club fitting. I've never done one of those before, so really intrigued to see how that's going to pan out. But perhaps before we do that, Lawrence, would you just take a minute and just explain to us, you know, your background and how you got to be a master fitter at PXG, please?
My background is PGA Professional previously. I've very recently just got my amateur status back. I always had a sort of affinity to draw myself to golf clubs and golf club equipment. I tried, you know, in my youth to play around with a lot of equipment, lots of repairs, that sort of thing. And found equipment technology a real passion of mine. I've been very fortunate to work with some tour players, along with some very good elite amateur golfers, and yeah, loads and loads of the general public. And our online fitting system is very good. I've found it pretty much spot on with people that I've potentially either seen before and we're just going to check some specs before they place an order for another product, or someone who's very new to us who gets fitted with our online system, and then we then see them out in the road for sort of like checking the product, or they want to come along and add something to their bag. Yeah, we see great synergy between what we do here and what we see out in the field. So yeah, it's really, really good, really positive.
Been fitted before with other brands when I've played different clubs in the past. but the level of detail that goes into the fitting, I thought just stood out. It was head and shoulders above the rest, and I'm really intrigued to see how we can kind of replicate that with an online system. So should we maybe try and fit me for a driver now and see how that goes?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with the driver. Really simply, we'll just go through some sorts of very simple things like height, handicap, and then we'll go through bits and pieces. Let's get going. So
Perfect.
Paul, how tall are you?
5'11".
And what's your handicap?
8.8.
And how far would you say you hit your driver as a total distance?
I've got my yardages here. My driver goes 255 is
Perfect.
the typical average.
How far does your 7-iron carry through the air?
The 7-iron goes 164, so I'm guessing carry, 155, something like that perhaps?
How would you describe your swing? So this is sort of like a tempo question. So would you say it's about average for what you see when you're out playing golf with mates and so on? Or would you say it's quite smooth, sort of Ernie-esque?
I wish I could say it was Ernie-esque,
Yeah.
but I think I would lose all my subscribers in a second. My bad shot would be a slice.
Okay, so your typical shot shape is sort of like straight to fade, is it? Do you always see the right
Yeah.
side of the golf club? Straight to fade. How would you describe your driver's trajectory? Is it high, low, about average?
It is a fairly high flight, quite a nice flight, not ridiculously high, certainly not a low flight, and it's got a nice sort of shape to it.
What's the current loft of your driver?
10.5 on the big up setting, so I think that makes it 12 degrees.
The Project X Even Flow Blue Riptide CB 60 Stiff is sort of our number one matrix option for you, which is one of our stock offerings from PXG. Having fitted your irons and stuff previously, I'm aware that we sometimes struggle with a little bit of spin. We need to work on that a little bit. And where you play golf at Fulford, it's a beautiful golf course. I think predominantly we need to find a little bit more yardage through the air than potentially on the ground. What we may find is through setup, I'd probably stick you in a 10.5 degree head because our sleeves are adjustable. We see a lot of good players, so good amateur golfers, professionals, they do like that, especially in the fairways and hybrids. And people who don't like to see the golf ball go left, that sleeve is very, very crucial for them. I'd probably look to see whether we could get you in the 0811 X Plus prototype driver would be my recommendation. What we've got in that prototype driver that's different from your current 0811 XF is draw weighting, so we could physically put a heavier weight through that heel section for you to help you close the club face a little bit faster. But ultimately, this is where it becomes more of a conversation. We've got you in a very good setup here from my personal experience with you. All the shaft offerings that we've got here on our system seem to fit what you like. It's then talking about what your personal preference is. If the player doesn't like the feel of that product or the look of that product, it'll never last the course of time. There's loads of things that we can do from here, but ultimately we get the core of our telephone fit from what we've just done there, which is typically about a 5 to 10 minute conversation.
I guess once somebody's been through this online fitting and the club arrives, they'll probably play the club for a few weeks, and then when you've got one of your fitting days in the area, they could just make an appointment and come down, and you can just sort of finely tune any sort of dynamic elements that you need to.
Yeah, exactly. The crux of it is getting the product in your hand and making sure that we've got you in something appropriate. We work really hard on our service side of the business, and as a fitter, I do enjoy repeatedly seeing the same customers because we have that relationship with clients that is very different to any other manufacturer. If you're ever struggling, you're more than welcome to give us a call up. You can either call our 0800 number, or you can reach out to us through one of our social media channels. That is a big part of it. That's something that I've not heard of within our industry. It's something very unique that PXG do, and I'm a massive advocate for the spec check service that we offer. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Really,
I mean, I remember I've got the Gen 2, so the Generation 2 driver, and when the Generation 3 one came out, the Proto, I actually came to see you over at Garforth for a fitting, and the new driver was better in every area, but only marginally. And I think you could sense I was a little bit unsure, and you advised me to stay with what I've got. You could have baffled me with science, and I'd have been getting the credit card out straight away. And I really appreciated that and valued that, and I've told a lot of my buddies as well, because I think you know, in the modern world, it would have been very easy just to take my money, give me the new club, which would have been a little bit better, but not a lot better. And I really appreciated that.
And that is just honesty from us. We could have done that. You know, you were very happy to buy a driver. You physically came to buy a driver that day. We knew pretty much where we wanted to go with it and what you needed to buy that driver. But we just didn't get there. So,
yeah,
you know.
No, I really value that. And I'm going to come back and try out the Gen 4 when that comes out next month, or probably a month after, when we can actually get a date to get together. It'd be nice to catch up.
Yeah.
Lawrence, that was fantastic. You've been really generous with your time, as you always are. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Lawrence, but thanks again for your time today. I'm sure the viewers of the Golf Show are going to really find that interesting, because I've not heard of this anywhere else, so really do appreciate your time, and you take care, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
Same to you, Paul. All right, thank you very much.
I really hope you've enjoyed this lockdown restricted content episode of the Golf Show. I think we've shown that there are things you can be doing and enjoying to do with golf, even though we're not allowed on the courses just yet in England. I appreciate other countries in the world are currently playing golf, and I'm very jealous. If you have enjoyed this episode, please click that like button, and if you're new to this channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It would really help me out. If this hasn't quenched your golf thirst fully, then you have always got YouTube to go at, and there are some great YouTubers out there. There's some guys that think they're great, and there's some different content out there for you to go at. One of my favourite channels to watch at the moment is a guy called Sam Harrop. Sam is a pianist. He does some fantastic golf parodies. No doubt you've heard the When Will Tony Finau Win Again song, which was a classic. Well, Sam has just brought out his new song called Tommy, and we're very lucky to have that on the Golf Show. So it's goodbye from me, and all that's left for me to say is, play it again, Sam.
Something to say to you. You've racked up morning misses, then Poultice has shanked since June. You're 15 runner-ups now. Your surfboard's very unfit now. Oh, Tommy, don't think I can take anymore. That Shinnecock loss was tough. 63 was not enough. That 8-foot miss on 18 really hurt. The final Honda Classic round didn't quite go to plan, but that doesn't make Paul Lazinger less of a Tyson man. Your hair's still the best on tour. Thomas Peters models his on yours. Oh, Tommy, I think we all know that you're a baller. Your cardigan game